What is up, guys? Welcome to another Southern Charm pop-up episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode of Southern Charm as much as I did. It really was the Madison LeCroy show. I can't wait to get into it and talk with you guys about Thursday's episode. So let's just get right into it. All right, guys. So they had a boys' night at Patricia's house, and when these guys get together, it is like nothing but a good time. Like they're drinking, talking shit, having fun, and I loved that Craig was like back at the scene of the crime where he spilled the red wine on Patricia's $40,000 couch, and let me tell you, I had a little bit of PTSD about it because there was a time a couple of years ago where I went to a friend of mine's house and I did a similar thing. I was drinking wine and spilled it all over his parents' like expensive couch. And I was mortified. Like it was just awful. I think people made fun of me for it for a good 6 months, but I love these guys' nights. So it was just so much fun to see. We had like a little bit of like an awkward moment between Austin and Rod. It was like awkward silence when they were sitting on the couch, like waiting for everyone. Guys, of course, Whitney made it even more awkward when he like sat down and brings up Rod telling Austin that like he's gone on a date with Olivia. Like he knew what he was doing, but it was just so funny and uncomfortable. I want to know, like, how late were they there for? Like, did they make a mess? You know what I mean? Like those just like nights that they have at Patricia's house are so funny. Patricia unfortunately wasn't there. Whitney said that she was like out on the town. Good for her. Like if I were her, I'd be out on the town all the time. But it was good to see. I will tell you what I did not like about the next scene is the fact that poor Hudson, Madison's son, came home and was crying because he got into a fight with another little kid. Like that poor little boy. And I feel like my reaction was the same as Madison's, and Hudson isn't even my kid, where she was like, do you want me to go kick his ass? She was like, I will tear him up. And that was like the same feeling that I had watching that scene. I was like, who was this little fucker that was messing with Hudson? That was like not cool. That poor little kid is like, he just seems so sweet. But also like, I feel bad for that kid that kind of like got into it with him, because I wouldn't want Madison coming after me if I was like getting into it with her child. That's the last person that like I would want knocking on my door if my child got into a fight with hers. Like, could you imagine? I wonder if she had like a conversation with the parents and how that went down, because I can see her being like feisty and being like, okay, your kid wants to fuck with mine, I'm gonna fuck with you, like taking out her hoops and like fighting with some mom in the street. It's just the way that I picture it. It is just like, you don't want to go there with her. But like, poor little Hudson. And I felt so bad for that kid. And it was good to see like Madison go right into mom mode, and her husband was like comforting there as well. It was just good to see. I love seeing like their at home moments between like the three of them. I love it so much. They're such like a cute little family. Guys, we got another date with Rod and Olivia. And what I did love was when Olivia walked up to the restaurant where they were meeting, and she said, like, every time I see you, and like, you're always like in front of like some beautiful backdrop, which is like true, right? Like the last time they went on a date, they were like going on a walk in that park, like in the Battery. And this time he's like on the beach in front of like this beach bar. Like he's doing like really cool things. And she needs it, right? She's going through a tough time. So it was so nice to see them on the date. They did get into a little bit of a talk about Austin, and she said, like, I promise that, like, our future dates, like, won't be about this. She just, like, needed to talk about it. And guys, I'm not going to lie. I loved when Rod said, like, I like to carry myself a certain way and present myself a certain way. And Austin talks like he does that when he really acts the opposite. And guys, you know I'm an Austin stan, but Rod was like throwing that dig in there, and I was like, oh, he's really trying to like stake his claim and like prove himself to Olivia that he would not be the way to her that Austin was, which I completely get. Like, you like her, you're putting your best foot forward, all this stuff. But I still have a little bit of a soft spot for Austin. Don't at me. But I did like the end of that date where he said, like, if this goes any further, like, I promise that, like, I won't make out with Taylor Ann, which was hilarious because for obvious reasons, right? I will say this, like, the editing of this episode, like, really set Taylor Ann up for failure because of, like, we obviously know the situation that's going to happen at JT's dinner, and the comments that she was making, like, to herself, like, really, it wasn't like anything like about anybody else, but just like the little things that she was saying, like, really kind of like set it up for like the big fallout that's going to happen like at the end regarding the nude photo. And I'm going to get into that a little bit next because we're going to JT's dinner and they do like a cut of everyone like getting ready. And this was one of my favorite moments, was when Craig was getting ready and he was on FaceTime with Paige, and Craig goes, I have to dress Charleston preppy. And Paige just goes, gross. Guys, I live for like the shade that Paige throws Charleston. And obviously, like, it's all in fun, but it is amazing where she was like, gross, Charleston preppy. Because, Paige would just wear like black, and that's such a vibe. But they did cut to Taylor getting ready, and she said, I look like a stripper on my way to a business meeting. And for me, I was like, girl, if you only knew what was coming your way, because this is like foreshadowing, right? Is that the word I want to use? Like, the fact that like she said that and they caught it and they used it in the episode, kind of leading up to the moment that they knew was going to happen, like with the fight when they were like editing the show. That was hilarious. I looked like a stripper on my way to a business meeting. She showed up to that dinner in like a crop top. She looked cute, but it was just funny to hear her say that. And then we get to JT's space. It's a beautiful space. And I loved that they said that they, prior to like what it is now, they used it as like a meeting ground during COVID to like have parties because like you couldn't really go anywhere. And I mean, I get it. Trust me, I get it. Like, I feel like towards the end of like that lockdown and all of that, people were itching to do stuff. So I get that they were like, okay, we'll just meet here and like have drinks and like hang out. But when we get to that space, we see Madison and Vanita talking, and they're having like a little bit of a catch-up session. And my favorite thing was when they like were walking to like the bar to like catch up, and they had their arms around each other, and they were like, they knew they had some stuff that they needed to talk about. And one of them was like, girl, and you know that's going to be such a good gossip session. It's like, girl, I got some stuff that I need to tell you. And I was like seated at the edge of my seat, like ready to hear what they have to say. So Madison fills Vanita in about Taylor sending the nude photo to Whitney. I thought Vanita was going to throw up the way that she was like turned around and like walked out of the room. Like she just like was gagging. And I get it. Whitney is an older man of a certain age. Taylor's very young. Why would she do that? But and then Venita was telling Madison about how she had the girls over her house for like a comforting moment with Olivia, and Taylor like invited herself, and really like that awkward moment on the phone between like Venita, Leva, and Taylor about how Olivia needs like her best friends there, and maybe Venita like wasn't the person that should be doing that, or whatever the case that was. And Madison literally was like, she needs to shut the fuck up when it comes to Venita, because Venita's not macking on all of Olivia's men, like, or she's not macking on Olivia's man. Like, girl, who are you to say anything about Venita when you're the one that's kissing Austin? And like, I get it. Venita was like, had good intentions of like wanting to make sure Olivia felt comfortable in the space. And to be honest, Taylor's feelings are all over the place. So I understand where Venita was coming from. But Madison was not the one to mess with. Like this episode was like, fuck around and find out. Like, if you are going to say something, like, I'm going to like hold you accountable and like call you out on your bullshit. So guys, Taylor entered the room and she's saying her hellos to everybody. And another moment that they caught where she's like, oh, I feel like I'm making my rounds. Like around like saying hello to like all the men. It was amazing editing for the episode, with like the theme going around about Taylor like sending the nude photo. I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing like this entire dinner and end of the episode. It was so good. But there was a funny moment between JT and Taylor. If you guys didn't catch it, they were like talking while she was like getting a drink, and he just says like, do you have a Valentine? I was like, oh my God, this guy literally is going to try and like mac on her right now and like do this. I feel like poor JT like really doesn't have a shot in hell with Taylor, but he is like giving it all he's got, and he's just going to keep making the moves. And I feel like he's just going to get friend zoned. But he goes, do you have a Valentine? And she's like, no, I'm single. I'm taking it slow. Like all this stuff. He goes, oh, me too. Kind of hinting at like, do you want to be my Valentine? And sir, it's just not going to happen. He like literally worships the ground that Taylor walks on. And I feel so bad because he isn't going to get to that spot. I feel like, you know what I mean? My favorite moment, one of my favorite moments of this episode was when Leva, Venita, Madison, and Craig were all sitting on the couch, and Venita tells Leva about the nudes, and Craig was like laughing and like smiling like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? It was hilarious because it was like the girls and Craig gossiping about what was happening, and I love that so much because I feel like Craig loves like the gossip. He loves to like be in on it, and that is amazing. And you know, he better have been listening to catch all of those moments so he can tell Paige exactly what was going on. So Madison is there. They tell Leva about the nude. She was like, what the hell's going on? I feel like I don't even know this girl anymore. Craig looks at Madison and goes, I didn't know that we were telling people. He goes, I didn't know that we were telling people about this. And she was like, well, Patricia knows. And so she thought it was like, okay to tell people. It is what it is. Everyone already knows. It's fine. If you're going to tell me that like a friend has never like talked to you about nudes they received or even showing you, you're a liar. I feel like it's happened to everybody. So like, I see the comments of people saying like, it shouldn't have been shared, or it shouldn't have been talked about. Like, that's private. I get it. It is. But people are human and they're going to talk about it. And again, like it's happened where like it, to me, where I've seen it that like my friends have received, or like vice versa. You know what I mean? It's just a thing that people do. So like, get off your high horse. It is just reality TV. It's just like, it's not like normal, but it happens. You know what I mean? So it was hilarious. Craig got up and he walked away and goes over to the boys and like tells Shep like, oh, this involves like you and you guys should go over there. And he like was getting himself out of the mess. It was amazing to see that moment. It was just like, we're telling people, guys, I loved it. This dinner was such chaos that like I was literally like like I said, on the edge of my seat, like waiting for what's going to happen next. So Shep walked over, asked Taylor about the nude. She instantly admits it. She admitted that like she did it and didn't deny it. Like, why would she? But I was dead in her confessional when she was like trying to make it seem like kind of like acceptable in the eyes of God because she says God created the naked body. Jesus isn't going to hate me because I sent a nude. Well, it was just hilarious to try like hear her like try and make it like acceptable in God's eyes. It was so funny. But obviously, they sit down at the dinner. Guys, you've seen this moment all over social media where Taylor like just addresses the elephant in the room and says, you know what? I'm just going to address the topic. Whitney, yes, there was a photo that was sent your way, but you couldn't see anything. God bless Madison LeCroy. She said, I saw your tits and vagina. And everyone was like, oh, this is awkward. And she goes, and I saw the caption that said, come one, come all. Guys, the caption, I can't. The caption is like what sent me. Like, send the photo, but then to write a caption on it, like, it was too much. Like, that sounds like something you would do like on OnlyFans. Like, I don't know. Like, it is what it is. That Taylor, like, really got into it and said that like the reason that she did it was because she wanted to hurt Shep. She knew that if she sent it to Whitney, Shep would probably hear about it and he would be mad. And she just wanted to like get at him because he really broke her heart. And it was just like a terrible breakup between the two of them. She was hurting, right? Completely understandable. I died because JT tried coming in like a knight in shining armor, literally stands up for Taylor, literally stands. He got up saying Taylor's a good person, but the genesis of the bad decision is male related. It was silent. Not the time or the place, sir. Sit back down. What were you doing? I get what you were trying to do to like have her back, but I also feel like he was doing it so that way she was like, oh, that was nice of him. Like, maybe I will give him a shot. Like, it's just, it's not going to happen. But it was hilarious to see. He literally stood up for Taylor. That was amazing. We get Madison again. Don't talk about friendships when you're kissing the guy that she likes. She's literally saying like, practice what you preach. Like it was really the Madison dinner. Like it really was. And then it was literally amazing to see her kind of just like put Taylor in her place, but like in the Madison way. And I like Taylor, guys. Like do not take this as like a Taylor bashing moment. This episode was just like Taylor centric in this moment of her sending this photo. I've hung out with Taylor. I think she's amazing. She's a lot of fun. She's really a good girl. And I'm just recapping this episode and giving my opinion on it because it was the moments. Although I love Taylor, I love Madison, and it made for really good reality TV. So Madison in her confessional says, like, I think Taylor's getting a pass because she's been with everyone at the table. If you're going to be a hoochie, be one, own it. And Madison is giving A++ confessionals this season. They are hilarious. And literally, like, if you're going to be a hoochie, be one and own it. We heard her later in the episode when her and Shep were going at it together, and Shep kind of like accused her of like doing the same thing. And Madison's response was like, I claimed to be a slut. I'm just a retired one, meaning she like stood in what she did and like she owned it. I'm literally going to be using that like from now on. Like, I claim to be a slut. I'm just retired. The shit that comes out of her mouth is like gold. It really is amazing. And she doesn't even have time to think about this. It's literally just like word vomit. But it is like amazing. It's so good. So Madison continues to just tell Taylor, like, practice what you preach. And while they are cutting between Taylor and Madison, you see Craig so uncomfortable. He's putting his napkin over his eyes like, oh my God, is this over yet? Like, I can't believe what's happening. It was, I wish I would have been there. I feel like I was listening to a podcast where Paige said she loves being on Southern Charm because she can be her true self, but also she feels like in these moments, she's like, oh my God, I can't wait to watch this on TV because the shit is so crazy. And I literally wish I would have been at that dinner because I would have been like, oh my God, this should be on TV. But guys, it is going to be on TV. It was just amazing. So they really ended the episode with JT standing up and saying, like, be respectful towards the women, talking to Shep, like, be respectful towards the women at the table. You're the oldest guy in the room. Shut up. Sir. Sir. I get what he was saying, but he was like, damn, you don't gotta call him old. I mean, he is, but it was just overall such a good episode. Like I've said prior, Southern Charm is delivering week after week. It is back to like old Southern Charm, and I'm here for it. And I hope you guys are enjoying these pop-up episodes. I love doing a quick talk with you guys about Southern Charm because we can like focus on like the hot points and really cover the episodes quickly. I hope you guys are enjoying it, guys. You do not have to wait until next week, Thursday, to kind of see what's going to happen because I already posted the first 6, almost 7 minutes of next week's episode over on my Instagram. So make sure you go and check that out so you don't have to wait a whole week to like get your Southern Charm fix. If you're liking these pop-ups, make sure that you are rating the podcast, reviewing it, subscribe it, send it to your friends that love Southern Charm, Bravo in general, invite them to the party. I hope you guys have a great week. I unfortunately am not going to do a pop-up episode next week because I will be immersed in BravoCon and like living in the moment and having the time of my life. But I will be going to the Southern Charm panel. If you guys are interested in what's going to be happening at BravoCon or Southern Charm, the Southern Charm panel specifically, make sure you're subscribing to my Instagram because I am going to be giving you guys live updates from every panel in the BravoCon 2023 subscriber channel that I created. So if you want all the updates on what's going on Southern Charm, everything I see regarding Southern Charm cast, anything Bravo related, subscribe and then make sure the first thing you do is go and join that BravoCon 2023 channel. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I will talk to you guys when I get back. Bye.